Getting older is not for sissies. That's what one of my patients says. And it's funny, but it's true. Live long enough and you'll get arthritis, skin cancer, probably one of the common chronic diseases like CHF, COPD, diabetes. At All County Healthcare, we teach you how to manage your disease. We make sure you know how to take your medications and how to recognize signs and symptoms before requiring hospitalization, no matter how many visits it takes. You didn't move to Florida to be sick. You moved here to enjoy the rest of your life. And that's exactly what our team of nurses, therapists, and aides at All County Healthcare help you do.
The following programming is furnished by you and your doctor.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Amp2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome, my friends and natives all around Florida and all around the country. Tonight we have a real great double guest. We have two guests, two lovely ladies, both physicians, both DOs. They're going to tell you basically what the DO is and what the difference between DO and MD. Am I correct, ladies? I want to introduce them to you. We have Dr. Terry Parsons, a DO, and we have Dr. Gauthier. Am I correct? Saying it correct?
Gunther.
Gunther, Dr. Gunther, who's a DO. And Dr. Gunther, you started this practice roughly, what, 20 years ago?
No, actually, we have a new practice that we just started 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
But you've been practicing for a long time, though.
I have.
How long?
I was in Flagler Beach, though.
Where?
Flagler Beach, Florida.
Flagler Beach, Florida. So that's the long way you came down here. And I understand you're quite busy and you basically have sufficient amount of patients. What's the difference now, doctor, between a DO and an MD? Can you tell the patients that tell our folks that?
I think the biggest difference is we get a two extra years of training in manipulative medicine. So otherwise it's the same, the 4 years of basic training, but then we get that extra 2 years of really knowing the body well and to be able to adjust things with our hands.
So it's more physiology?
Anatomy.
Kinesiology, anatomy?
Yeah.
So you know more about the body structure.
Absolutely.
So tell us now, if you're basically doing this, you spend more time with you spend time with the patients? Is that patients you see?
Well, Dr. Parsons does most of that in the office, so sometimes an hour.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what they need, but definitely, you know, it's something that I feel like you don't, even to be a DO doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is continuing to use the hands-on treatment, which is a sad thing. I really wish more people who have that training, you know, should do that. But with the reality of medicine the way it is and the kind of the go-go society and that sort of thing, it doesn't really leave you that one-on-one time. But our practice, luckily, you know, we are independent practice, right? So we don't have a corporation or anybody telling us or dictating to us how many patients we have to see or how we have to run our practice. So if that's a service that people need, you know, I've always enjoyed doing that. And I have patients that just come in sometimes for osteopathic manipulation. Mm-hmm.
When you say osteopathic manipulation, is that similar to chiropractic?
That's a great question. So, you know, some things I explain to my patients before they've ever had any OMT, osteopathic manipulative treatment. Sometimes it may look similar to some of the techniques that a chiropractor would do, right? There's a lot of tools in the toolbox when it comes to, you know, treating somebody with hands-on therapy. But like high velocity, low amplitude, you know, lymphatic, soft tissue. So there's so many different things. Some of them are similar, but not all things are the same. So even some things might even cross over a little bit to some things a physical therapist might do. So it's kind of a fusion, but it's very much unique enough so that in other countries, you know, there's osteopaths like in the UK and that sort of thing where that's all they do. They're not fully licensed physicians like they are here in the United States, where our primary focus is, you know, we're fully licensed physicians doing everything that, whether your credentials are a DO or MD, we do all encompass that. But osteopathic, having that DO, like Dr. Gunther pointed out, we took the extra time in our education to learn that. So it's not the same. And I have people that come and see me and they get treatments, but they may have a chiropractor on board as well. And so it's really hard to explain. I mean, really, a person has to have it done, to really fully understand, I feel like. And it really is tailored to what the patient needs.
Of all the years I've been doing this is the first time I had a definition of osteopathic medicine versus regular medicine, MD medicine.
Wow.
So what I like to say is the osteopathic side is sometimes the patient might not have a need for drugs, where he's getting drugs for pain, where you might solve that pain by doing certain manipulations. So a lot of these people I see, sometimes especially the elderly, can be overdosed with medications, different medications, where you're saying to them, it's not the medication, you get to the cause of it. You get to the root cause, am I correct?
Correct.
So you know what the cause of the ailment is, and you try to go to the cause of it. Now, if they do need medication, you have the ability to prescribe that too, don't you, doctor?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. In the early days of osteopathic medicine, that was a distinctive feature, that there was an MD, Dr. Andrew Taylor Steele, who wasn't happy with the way things looked at the time, because back then, they were using a lot of poisons and medications were harming people and doing more harm than good. So, he thought, I just have to study the body. I have to study, a different way of doing things, and broke off, and that's kind of how the osteopathic branch of medicine was started. And so the very, very early days, not so much with medicines, but of course, since then, obviously medical school, pharmacology, all the evidence-based treatments is a huge part of what we do as well. So you're not going to find, at least I don't think, maybe very, very rarely, a DO who doesn't, prescribe medications, because fully licensed physicians in the United States, you do everything, and that includes prescribed medications, and you're held to the same standards, and we have to take the same continuing education and keep up to date on all the medications. And so, yeah, certainly in our practice, we do all of that.
Now, you've been in practice about a year? Fully?
Yeah, so, a little over a year out of residency.
Now, why did you get into osteopathy? Why did you select osteopathic medicine over regular medicine?
Wow, that's a great question. I think part of it was, some of my early mentors were DOs, and served very proudly in the military. And, if you really look back at the history of DOs, there's a very strong association with DOs and serving in the military, and becoming more mainstream that day, or in that way, I should say. So, my father was in the military. I've always wanted to make sure to take very good care of veterans and that sort of thing. So that was some of my earlier mentors, and one of them handed me a book, and it was called The Difference a DO Makes. I think it was written in the 70s, actually, and it blew me away. That book was so amazing. And so I thought, wow, this is the kind of doctor that I want to be. And so, that's where I applied to DO schools, and my husband, I got accepted. I have a husband who's kind of decrepit. He's had motorcycle accidents and different things, and he's probably my best unpaying customer.
Who was that?
My husband.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you even take care of him. He comes to you too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's great. Now, where would the patient? If the patient wanted to come and see you guys, I know you're very busy. How would he get in touch with you? What's your phone number, Doc?
561-318.
Come on, speak in the microphone. I can't hear you.
561-318-6158.
Give me that again.
561-318-6158.
And where's your location?
Lantana, Florida.
Lantana, Florida, next to JFK?
Very close on
Right
Lantana
close to-
Road.
Okay, so and the question, if they call you, do you take, what type of insurances do you take?
I can't think of what we don't. Well, we don't
I
take
know. Was it Humana
Medicaid. We don't take
PPO?
Medicaid.
But you
don't
take mostly
Medicaid.
all insurances?
Yeah.
Pretty
So
much.
they take mostly all insurances. They take PPOs, they take HMOs, they take Medicare, right? Medicare, they take a lot of Medicare.
Right. We have a
I'm
large
pushing
Medicare
Medicare, as you can see.
We love our Medicare
But,
patients. Yeah.
And don't forget, any age, what age group do you take?
I think all my patients are over 90 years old.
Over 90.
You got a new 102-year-old patient the
A
other
new
day.
patient.
I think it was
102.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because doctors are dropping insurances, and these people are left with no provider because their doctors decided to not take that insurance.
Well, maybe not the doctor decided. Maybe the insurance company decided not to renew the doctor's Medicaid. That's
Well,
what's happening
that's
today.
possible.
There are a lot of these insurance companies are saying, these HMOs are saying, listen, you cost us too much money, we'll see you later. And they say, see you later and goodbye, so you can't take them.
You know, I didn't think about that.
Right? So anyway, now what happens is poor senior got no place to go, right? He comes to you and you're seeing him. And he says, gee, I got these new doctors that really care about me at 102. They don't want to kill me. They want to keep me alive. That's your goal, right? So keeping them alive. So it's amazing. Now, you know the difference between osteopathic medicine, and you know the difference between osteopathic medicine and regular, what they
Like
call
allopathic. Well, they don't really, use those terms as much anymore, So your degree, when you graduate, you're a DO or you're an MD, and MD was more an allopathic versus osteopathic, and osteopathic was more associated with holistic, mind, body, spirit connection. But that's the thing. I mean, it's, our licensing capabilities are all 100% the same. I mean, there's DOs that are neurosurgeons and, some so there's DOs that are neurosurgeons and cardiologists and family medicine like us.
But one of the questions you got to get across to the public, sometimes the public downplay the DOs versus the MDs, right? But I think that is changing as the years are progressing. There's more
Education.
More people are coming into becoming DOs, and how satisfied they are with the DOs, because you do spend probably more time with the patient.
I think I was reading somewhere it's like 25-30% now of graduates that are coming from DO schools versus MDs. I mean, don't quote me on it, but it was a pretty high number. And, even being just first year out of residency and in practice, it's the opposite. We have people that come and look for us because they've had a DO.
That's true.
Because they know the difference. And it is not a detriment at all, I feel like, to be a DO, because people come looking for you because they had a DO and they love their DO.
Well, about time that whole, what I call differential of saying, oh, why using a DO? I'm using an MD, right? That has changed now, right? They don't classify. They want to go to the person who they have trust in and faith in. And I'm sure you have faith in you when they come to you. Do you have, and you said you only been here how long? 2 years? If this part of Florida?
Well, we're independent for 2 years.
Right.
So, I was in a group practice.
And you were independent for 2 years, but you got to maintain a tremendous. Earlier, I was talking to a doctor. She said the earliest you're getting to see her is in November sometime. Am I correct?
That's us, yeah.
So imagine being here 2 years and you're building a practice that the earliest they can see these physicians is in November, 2 months away. So they must be doing something correct to be saying, you want to see me? It takes 2 months, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, there is a bit of a wait, and honestly, for us, I think it's because it's a lot of patient referrals. It's a lot of people sending their friends and sending their family, and in this state of medicine these days, it's very difficult, almost impossible to kind of go off and be on your own. With the way that practices are being bought up by larger corporations and by hospital systems. And I feel like we're very unique in that sense that we really want to do what's best for our patients, and we want to give them time, and we do give them time. So when they come in and see us, it's not a revolving door. They're not in and out in 10 minutes. And we just want to treat people the way that we want to be treated, and we would want our families to be treated. So if you look online, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people look online and they're like, wow, everybody, all the doctors have 5-star reviews. And it, I don't say that because we don't want patients or, to come in and see us. We certainly do. But it's the reality that, wow, we just can't keep up with the number of people that call. And it hurts our heart, too, when they have to wait so long.
So you might have to add another DO to your practice, right?
We recently. We should.
You had another DO. So
we actually ran out of space.
We need a bigger office.
Well, look what you're doing. You're depriving all these people of seeing you.
Well, think about this. She just finished her residency 1 year ago. She's full. Yeah. That doesn't happen.
That's unheard of.
It is unheard of.
That's unheard of. Usually you have to go to some large practice to do hospital visits to get patients.
Or you're advertising and you're going to meet all these doctors. There's not been one iota of advertising.
So it's time now you put another one on so more people can come and see this new doctor. Don't be so selfish.
Well,
people want to come and see you.
We did have to add a physician's assistant to our practice, so we've got three physicians. We just added a physician's assistant, but
three physicians.
Yeah, but even for us, we see our own patients as well. So she's there if we have sick visits or things like that. But I know sometimes that's a big thing these days where people they want to see their doctor, and so we want to see them too. And it truly is a space issue. Really, I'm sure at some point we're going to have to grow out of the building and. consider maybe doing something else. But there's so many people out there looking for good primary care doctors, and we hear it.
We have a great shortage of primary care doctors in Palm Beach County.
We do.
I think we had
Yeah,
325. We're short 325 primary care physicians, about roughly 325. Am I correct?
Correct.
'Cause listen, as Palm Beach County keeps growing and growing and growing, today I want you to know one thing. Doctors do not make a lot of money today. So let's get that out of the people's mind. They think doctors are very, very wealthy. Well, doctors today don't make that much money. As a matter of fact, if you get a Medicare patient, you might get paid $80 for the first visit, $125 for the first visit, right?
Yeah.
So you have to see them 3 times a year, 4 times a year. So just think, if they see a patient 4 times a year, they're only making $400. If you have to put a new carburetor in your car, it's going to cost you $600. And that mechanic really didn't go to school for 13 years or 12 years, whatever it was. Am I correct?
Correct.
And so the answer is, if you want to, here's a question. I want to go to a physician, but I don't want to take 2 minutes and he says, see you later, you're fine, you're this, you're that, right? So how much, you'll spend as much time as you want with that patient that you need it, right?
I mean, yeah, we definitely
we're
spend
not
much.
overdoing it.
Well,
Right.
we schedule 15 minutes,
But
and we try to stay
some of
in
us
that
take
time.
more than others.
That's hard to keep 15 minutes with a patient.
It
It
is.
is hard.
All right?
Yes.
Especially when you do
Yeah.
the triage and
Well,
everything
especially when you've been with them 11 years and they're your friend.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I don't
And
have
30 minutes for new patients.
Yeah.
So
I get paid for hanging out with my friends all day.
And a lot of these seniors, that's why they want friendship. Because you know what? Their families up in Chicago, they don't see anybody. No one calls them. Being in the home health care business, I find out they want companionship. They want somebody to talk to.
Yes.
I remember my mom used to go to the doctor to get her toenails cut or get something done, just to get out to have some conversation with somebody. So, and it's amazing, you're talking to a 102-year-old patient, right? He's come out of the house, and he's saying, this lady's wonderful, right? 102. And he's saying, I'm going to keep coming back to her. So instead of coming once a year, he might come once a month.
That happens.
Yeah.
well, actually, you have patients that drive from all over. Where's the farthest away? Somebody was
I guess
coming
West
from,
Virginia.
Well,
West Virginia?
I mean, I was thinking the Central Florida ones that drive down, but yes.
Oh, from Flagler Beach still.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I mean, that's how much people love her. They want to continue to
Well,
see
I can
her.
see why.
Yeah.
She doesn't take herself serious. She's a very, very fine person. I can tell. She basically cares about people. And how many people today care about people? The hardest thing today I think we lose in the world is integrity. I think the whole world, everything's become money today. Money, money, money. And people forget where they came from. So these two lovely ladies that are practicing medicine, they practice medicine. They don't practice money. They practice medicine. And guess what? If your doctor's seeing 40, 50, 60 patients a day, which some doctors are, these two young ladies aren't even seeing that many patients a day. So they're seeing they come and say, this is what you need, this is what you should have, and if you have to have it into the hospital, they have hospital privileges too, correct? So you have hospital privileges. Now, as far as doing house calls, will you do any house calls?
Not anymore.
Okay, but you'll do telemedicine calls.
Yes.
So they also do telemedicine. And explain to the person out there listening, what is a telemedicine visit like?
Basically, we're on video.
On
So
video.
we're talking to them and seeing them and seeing what's going on and try and get best history we can. Of course, with COVID, we've had a lot of telemedicine. A lot of people are just too afraid to leave their house.
Especially now. Now, let me ask you a question. Being a family physician, what do you believe about this whole thing about COVID? Some people say, I shouldn't get the vaccination. I don't believe in the vaccination. Are you folks pro-vaccination? Is that a tough question to ask?
That is a very hard question.
Oh, wait. Well, maybe
Not
take that
everybody
off the,
sees
we might take
things
that
the
off
same way.
off the palette. All right?
Dr.
But
Parsons is pro-vaccine.
she's pro-vaccine, right?
I finally got one 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
Well, see, most of us here are all pro-vaccine. Because you have to be in today's world, I think, no matter what, whether it's proven, not proven, we know 99% of people that get in COVID at least don't have to be hospitalized. We want to keep it around for a while. 99% of the deaths, no, yeah, you don't believe in it.
No.
Well, we're not going to argue that point. We'll take that off.
No,
the-
no, it's not that. I'm just saying the 5 patients I had in the hospital last week with COVID had all been vaccinated.
Absolutely. That's true. Didn't die.
We only lost one
But
in
you didn't.
2020, one patient.
Yeah, but
That
he had
was it.
underlying
And
conditions.
that was before
Did
vaccine.
he had underlying conditions?
Yes.
Okay. right? So it's a situation. What is the situation? They say, what I'm hearing today, maybe I'm wrong, that 99% of people that are vaccinated do get COVID. I have a friend of mine. She had two doses of Pfizer. She got COVID bad, but she's not hospitalized, right? And another friend of mine, she didn't have the vaccination. She's hospitalized. She's much younger. So I think it's a question now that everybody is thrown up in the air, and there's got to be some resolution. How do you solve this so-called epidemic? And I think it's an epidemic, isn't it?
You're asking a huge question.
Yeah.
How do you solve that?
2 minutes?
Do you want to take a break?
I didn't take a break?
Break time.
You killed me. I got to take a break. Let's take a break right now.
Okay.
Thank you.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027. Or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Welcome back, folks. Again, we're talking to Dr. Parsons, Dr. Gunther. I said it right this time. Dr. Gunther is a senior partner in this group, this wonderful group of doctors. They told you the difference between osteopathic medicine versus regular medicine. They also told you roughly why you should come to see them, because they spend a lot of time with you. They want to get to the bottom. They want to know what the cause of your ailment is. They don't want to solve it just by giving you some medication and come back next week. So going back to some of the things that you've seen that you do differently, I understand you said you have to do some hands-on treatment, right? Explain to me again some manipulations that you would do. Say, now I hear a lot of people complain, especially seniors, I get cramps in my legs, right? I get out of bed and I wake up with these serious cramps. What causes the cramps, right? Could be dehydration. What could be causing cramps? So, I mean, I'm sure you have many, a person gets older, he has, every day he wakes up with a new ailment. That's me.
Oh.
Every day I wake up with a new ailment, right? Now, tomorrow I'm going to get my knees done, right? So I'm saying to you, the question is, what are some of the ailments that you could do through manipulation other than give medication?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. So even though I do practice OMT in our practice, I mean, it's not the majority of my day. I must admit that. And there are some amazing osteopathic physicians out there that's all they do, like 100% of what they do, and really stay up to date with everything. But I mean, because when you ask me about what sorts of things you can treat with OMT, it's I mean, I actually, so the school I graduated from, for instance, at Nova Southeastern University, right? They have an OMT clinic where they really have some of the gurus that have been doing this all their life. And they have people that fly in from all over the country to get their OMT treatments. And I did a month actually when I was a student there in the OMT clinic, and was just blown away by these patients that have, nowhere else that they felt like they were being successfully treated, and people that came in with their children, because one of the practitioners there specializes in children, and so have been able to really help with kids, whether it was, certain psychiatric things, that were going on with them. I mean, obviously we have some people that focus on treating babies and newborns, and they can help with everything from like latching problems, just dysfunctions, because of course if you've ever seen a newborn baby, born vaginally, there's a lot going on with their cranium, right? And there's a lot of disfigurement there. So just being able to do some hands-on manipulation for the cranial field.
Newborn babies?
Yes, and newborns, and it actually works really well. One of the things that I like to do is, and I do it for my adults as well, is I show people how to do certain lymphatic drainage techniques. So when they come in with upper respiratory infections, congestion, I mean, you name it, right? People have bad allergies. Just a way to help promote lymphatic drainage and flow so that we can get some of that, excess fluid that's backing up into their ears and their nose, and I show them what treatments they can do for themselves. So I'm big on that. If there's something that they can do for themselves or do quite easily, that I'll even let them sometimes bring a partner in and try to show them simple things that they could try to do for each other. But there's studies that show that, even in the pediatric population, kids with ear infections, using medications alone versus OMT treatment alone, and just as good of outcomes with not even using the medications.
That was one of the questions I asked you. What age limit, what age groups would you start at? What age do they have to come to see you? 18, 15,
Oh, so
16?
just specifically to our practice?
Yes.
I don't think we actually set an age group. It's just that we don't
set
carry.
5.
You said 5?
5?
Because of
Yeah.
all of the newborn vaccinations
vaccines.
and having to give all the kids a shot.
So you'll see a 5-year-old as well as a 102-year-old.
Yeah.
We have 2 minutes, ladies. Give
Okay.
us a sign, 2 minutes.
Yes.
So getting back to this thing, there's a thing people always say, elderly people come back and they have to have lymphedema.
Lymphedema is tough,
Lymphedema
yes.
is a big thing now. Now, everybody said, now, can you treat lymphedema? How do you treat lymphedema? Now, how would you treat it? I know a lot of MDs would say, let's get a physical
pill.
therapist in there and give massage therapy, something
Yeah,
like
water
that.
pill, compression.
Takes hours and hours. So would you treat lymphedema even at your own office?
I mean, certainly there's treatments for lymphedema, and again, it kind of goes back to the whole lymphatic drainage, opening up a lot of the channels, right, so that can help promote some of that flow. And then I think it's really big to do the education, right? So who is their caregiver? What sorts of things can we do for them at home? Some things are pretty simple, right? We have the scientific foundation for what we do and why we do, but some things are simple enough you can teach somebody else how to help that person at home. And so that's the kind of things that we can do for them. Now, is there a magic I can hands-on and do a little bit of Hail Marys? No. It's not. I wish it was. It's not that great.
But that's a tremendous statement you just made. Finished? Okay,
Oh, wow, it was
That's
quick.
a tremendous statement. Let me finish one thing. She said she does educate. Educate is a key thing to her patients. She educates her patients. Please, if you want to go see them, you heard the phone number, call our station. We'll tell you the phone number. Call my office, 954-717-727. We'll give you all the information. Guys,
Yes.
thanks a million.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate having you. Come on anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, call AMP2 TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in next week for more information on living longer and having a healthier life.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hi, my name is Deanna Barron. I'm an RN with All County Healthcare. I used to work for this huge corporate-owned home health agency, and I was always worried that they wouldn't let me make enough nursing visits to be sure that your wound was fully healed, or that you were completely comfortable checking your husband's blood sugar level and giving him the correct dose of insulin, or that your mom's lingering cough was the end of her bronchitis, not the beginning of a new episode. The owner of All County Healthcare always says, give the patient what they need, and he means it. At All County Healthcare, I see my patients until their goals are met, and I never worry. I hope you never need a nurse to come to your home, but if you do, tell your doctor.